And I ask my daughter just to simply put it away. And she tells me, Dad, it's broken. Just throw it away. And I reply, it might be broken, but it still works. If I handed you a blank check and said, write in the amount that you're worth, would you write 10,000, 100,000, a million, 100? How do you really put a value on yourself?
Every day, you pay out a check in the form of your time, your talent, and your treasure. Come with me on this journey, the blank check, as we hear inspiring stories and lessons learned to help you uncover how much you're really worth.
This blank check is made payable to Crayons. I got out my box of 24 Crayola crayons and started my soon-to-be masterpiece. I just knew it was going to look amazing with the magnet holding it onto the refrigerator for the next 2 weeks before my mother threw it out. Some of my fondest memories were drawing in those tan-colored construction-style paper coloring books. And I remember one of my favorite things growing up was my box of Crayola crayons. And let's be honest, you couldn't have the generic brand of crayon. It had to be the ones that said Crayola. I think that the Crayola for a 5-year-old was like the equivalent for an adult with a Louis Vuitton purse. It was definitely a kid status symbol. Now, this one day, I remember I hit the lottery of crayons. I got the box with 64 crayons. Now, hold back your excitement. It had a built-in sharpener. Because you see, before this, I was only using the box with maybe 12 or maybe 24. But this had 64 colors that I didn't even know even existed. There was like magenta and what's periwinkle? Now let's keep it real. As an adult, how many times do you use periwinkle throughout your week? If you know of any practical applications of how to use and actually what is periwinkle, please DM me. I would love to get this information. Now, here's some fun and interesting facts that you can share with your friends and at parties to make yourself seem way more interesting. For example, the smell of crayons is the 18th most recognizable scent for adults in the United States. Crayola produces an average of 12 million crayons, wait for it, per day. And the world's largest crayon was made by Crayola in 2003. And by the way, Google this. All of this is backed up by facts and data. And the largest crayon measured 15 feet and weighed 1,500 pounds. The most popular crayon color is blue. So, trivia facts. Crayola has also produced over 1,500 different colors since 1903. And we're going to go international on you. The word Crayola means oily chalk in French. Oui, oui, my friends. So, feel free to use any of this information and just wow your friends and family. And safe to say, crayons have definitely colored the childhood for many generations and probably for most of us listening. So, my daughter, she is a very good artist and she loves to draw all the time. We're constantly fighting crayons scattered throughout the house, in the kitchen, in the restroom, and unfortunately, in the bed sometimes. And there's lots of them. There's new ones. There's broken ones. And recently, the other day, I see this broken crayon on the floor. Definitely one of my pet peeves. And I ask my daughter just to simply put it away. And she tells me, Dad, it's broken. Just throw it away. And I reply, it might be broken, but it still works. Now, If you've been listening and following to the blank check, you already know. We see things much deeper than simply on the surface. And as I tell her this, I remember this quote that I recently heard. Don't love things and use people. Use things and love people. How many times has someone, just like that broken crayon, consider themselves trash, worthless, or not of value simply because they're a little broken and not quite perfect? Now, if you're listening to this and you're over the age of 5, I am certain, and I'd be willing to bet money, that you have experienced some form of heartache and some type of brokenness in your life. And that brokenness is more than just a crayon when you were a kid. Now, here's something you may or may never have considered. You, me, your family, my family, your spouse, kids, boss, pastor, even the celebrity that you follow on Instagram. Pretty much anyone you've ever met in life is broken. Broken at least in one area, if not more, of their life. We've all been broken down at some point. And when you go through it, you can see how it affects us in so many deeper ways. For example, when you're financially broke, you definitely feel less than your value. When you're brokenhearted, you feel unloved. When you're broken physically, you feel this lack and feeling of, I can't do what I want to do. And if you've ever been broke spiritually, you know the feeling that there's this lack that things just won't get better. But remember, my friends, this is the blank check. And we can use a pen, we can use a marker, and of course, we can even use a crayon to write in whatever you want. So let's take one of these crayons and let's draw a few parallels between broken crayons still producing beautiful art and how you, even as the broken person you are, can still do the same with your life. Now, this crayon, although broken and so far from perfect, still has a lot of value and can be used to create something amazing. Now, this person, although broken and so far from perfect, still has a lot of value and can be used to create something amazing. In whatever season of life that you're in, remind yourself, you still have great value left. And let's be honest, some of us were broken as a kid with whatever happened. Some of us were broken in our teens by bullying and judgment. Some were broken in adulthood when that person walked out. And some of us may even feel broken right now with a lack of confidence. But whatever the experience, that brokenness stays with us. But I'm here to remind you, just like that crayon, it does not diminish your value and does not take away that you still have the ability to do what you were created to do. And instead of just sitting in that broken crayon piece inside you, look at the great picture of life that you can create. Like, seriously. I mean, if that crayon just sat there perfect inside the box and never was used, it would never create anything. And for me, for you, all of those heartbreaks, those imperfections, your faults, your defeats, your losses, they add meaning to your story. Don't let your good pain go to waste. This is part of the story that you're writing. So go back to that inner child. Take out your used and broken crayons and create. And keep writing out that story. And remember, when God made you, you were His masterpiece. And He has your artwork proudly hanging on His refrigerator. And He's not going to throw it out in 2 weeks. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I love doing these with you guys, and I love the feedback that I get. And I'd have to say that this helps me to, every week, keep on writing my story. And I always encourage you to do the same. Love spending time with you, and I'll see you next time on The Blank Check.